Uja, to my fellow brothers and sisters in the world. I come to you with great salutations of peace, love, and prosperity. Ashe. Now today's video is going to be talking about the spirit of the diviner. People said the diviner. What is the diviner? Let's talk about it. So a diviner, which is a particular word that means to the divine, a person that can communicate with higher forms of intelligence. A diviner is basically someone who can communicate with the divine. Someone who can perform a divine. All right? It's also short for divination. To be able to div in, to dig deep into something, to jump into the sea of information and swim, to divine, right? So basically a divine, it even goes back, you can trace the word back to several languages, Nakash and things like that, you know. But the diviner is basically a particular person that can channel, that is like a medium, an oracle, right? You can you can communicate with the divine. And when you think of divine, of course, we have to look at it, the divine within and the divine without, okay? Which ultimately is all meshes into one. So therefore, when you're communicating with the divine, you're communicating with the all that's in you, outside of you, and all around you, which is powerful stuff, okay? So a diviner is someone who can communicate, with the astral world, who can get in touch with certain deities and communicate and figure out certain things that's going on, See, the physical world is already laid out. You just have to follow it. It's already a system in place. But the spiritual world is always changing. Every second, every minute, every hour, every moment, the energy is moving like the sea. So therefore, what message you got today might be a different message tomorrow. You see, but you might be in a particular cycle of what you're going through. You see, but there are many opens and closing to cycles. So the role of a diviner is to pretty much communicate on your behalf until you're able to get to that level to communicate for yourself on its behalf. Now, before you get nervous or ego start popping, we always communicate with our higher selves on a regular. Sometimes we really just, we might not be sure. So this video is just for people who need the information to give a few pointers about it, you see? Because the first and foremost, you communicate with the divine within, because you yourself are connected to the source of creation. Whatever you call that source, whether it's Nebajir, Olodumare, Cologne, Nakub, whatever, right? You connected with that source, inside you. Powerful stuff. So you divine with your higher self, because it's the difference between your conscious thinking and your deep subconscious thinking, right? So therefore, when you divine, you getting into a certain brain state of mind to going back to a certain frequency. So you're able to really receive the answer that's coming down from yourself, right? So that is the role of a diviner. A diviner is someone who can figure out what's going on for you or in itself in astrally, okay? Powerful stuff. Be real humble. Let's see. Okay, so it's different divining systems. So people know about divinations or quote unquote readings or, charts, right? So it's many different systems. You might use astrology, sextrology, Ifa, you might use Vodun, You might use Santeria, you might use Dogon, whatever you choose. The I Ching, Akashic Records, Galactic Kin, the Pendulum, all these are divining systems. So a diviner is like a profession, right? But depending on where, your walk of life is, you have a certain system that you use for your divining. You use these divining systems are your tools. And the more systems you have under your belt, of course, the more powerful you can become. But we highly advise to start with one that you can really, really, really channel and focus on, really get a firm understanding, rudimentary grip into that, and then get another one. Then do the same thing, and then get another one. So we're talking about things that is gradual, depending on the individual. You see, so there's many different divining systems. So if you're into the Kemetic sciences, then you want to get a divining based on the Kemetic sciences. If you're into the Reiki sciences, you want to get a divination based off the Reiki sciences. Get a diviner for whatever system you choose to. Or if you want to be interested in something else, then speak with somebody in that tradition. It's all one. We should all be networking with each other, because all these paths or traditions, is what's giving fuel for us in this 2016. Because we have our own culture here and now. We do have our own way of life. We're not just looking at the past. No, we are living all these things now. You see, powerful stuff, right? So basically, the spirit of diviner or someone who can pretty much come in and communicate, on the ET level. It can get in contact with your heavenly mates, heavenly bodies, and figure out what's going on for you spiritually. So if you haven't had a divine session or, a reading, or not even reading, but like a, real consultation, spiritual divining, it is so many good people who do them, who do, these Akashic Records type of sessions. And you have to have one. It's something I feel like you can't be on the spiritual path and not have had a form of traditional, consultation, like a traditional, African divination. It's just very hard, because it's gonna snapshot where you at, right? Past, present, and future, and it's gonna give you a path and a laid out of what's going on and the circumference of where you at. So get it. It's just like going to the doctor. You getting a check. You go for a checkup, then they give you a prescription. You go to the diviner, then they're gonna see where you at, and that's a checkup. They're gonna give you some work and remedies. So whatever you're using, whether you're using the tarot, whether you're using, the cards, or whatever you're using, the coins, just get one. You see, if you need help finding local people in your area, contact me. I know so many good, traditional diviners, right? And you pretty much want to have one. So the diviner in you is already diviner in you, right? So the purpose is to learn from someone to teach you how to get to the aspects of you, right? So we know that your mind is the first and foremost, is the ultimate diviner. Your mind is always divining. It's always communicating with different biofrequencies in the universe. Always. Because, this produces this and the melanin, right? So therefore, you're always in a constant state of divining. Don't get it twisted. You might not just be able to read certain things immediately, and that's okay. We have a system for that, right? So basically, your pineal gland is why it should be active, right? So you're able to see clearly into the spirit world. So just be able to look and say, I see, right? Your heart is always in a constant state of divining, because as you go along your day-to-day activities, you might get approached with the situation, and you judge it based off your heart. So that's your heart is, it's a mind and a heart, as they say, right? So therefore, listen to your intuition, they say. Listen to that first gut feeling, because that's usually your inner consciousness speaking to you. That's divining. When you get into a situation or you about to go somewhere and you be like, man, I don't really feel this is good. That's your intuition. That's your divining, internal divining system speaking to you. Everybody is an oracle. You have an oracle system embedded in your genetics, so therefore just listen to it and know how and to pretty much be successful in that. When you get into like a meditation, deep meditation, right? And you start receiving messages, that is your inner soul speaking. When you dream and getting these messages, that is your divine self speaking to your lower self, right? So that's all. Everyone needs to have a form of consultation. It's imperative. It's a must, because you can divine about many things. Animals, you can divine on animals. Deities, you can divine on situations, divine on, should I make this investment, should I be with this person? Everything we do is a divine. We divine every day, but we just don't really know it. All right, so peace and blessings to you and to the soul. And this is a powerful quote in Yoruba we use, and it says one diviner can be more powerful than another. One diviner can swallow another diviner completely. So it's different diviners, it's different levels of divination. It's different tools and processes you can use. So, it's out there. You just have to get it. All right. Peace and blessings, eternal love, divination.